welcome to Women's Wealth, the podcast with me, Joanne. My mission is to educate, inspire, and empower you all to step into your own life of wealth. That feeling of being so rich in your mind, body, and soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get straight into it. Hello, how are we all? Happy New Year. Is this the first one? I'm so confused this week. I keep seeing people and they're like, Happy New Year. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. And I was teaching this morning and I was like, is this the first Monday of the year? Or have we already had one? Was Monday, did we have what? I've got no idea where we are, what day we're on, what year it is. So I think this is the first podcast of 2025. Yes, it is. So Happy New Year. I feel like I said this in the last one. Anyway, Happy New Year. Welcome back. I hope you all had an amazing New Year, amazing Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Actually, if you celebrate New Year, I know a lot of people that don't celebrate New Year in January. They celebrate in March. Maybe I can do a podcast on that. So I always take it with a pinch of salt anyway, as I've spoken about in my previous podcasts. So remember not to be too hard on yourself. Scrap those resolutions. Make some promises. Make some intentions. Make them small. We've talked about this, so no need to go through it all over again. Let's get on with what I want to share with you today. So today I want to talk about something that you're going to see popping up if you follow me on social media, and I'll probably be talking about it quite a lot in my podcast actually, which is the 5 pillars of wealth. Now you might be thinking, what on earth is this? What is she up to? What is going on? But what if I told you there wasn't, but now I've created just a basic framework for us to use, to look at, to reflect on, that is going to help us feel more balanced, more fulfillment, more aligned with our mind, body, and soul. And this is what I've put together to make sure and to help us all, myself included, because I use these to really step into a life where we feel wealthy. Now, if this is the first time, my podcast has got wealth in the title, or, if you've got me on any of the other social medias and watch my YouTube and you're like, okay, I kind of work it out. It's got WAL in, it's got a TH on the end. So if you're not sure, if you're new here, if you need a little refresher. So wealth is, of course, it's more than money. It's your well-being, it's your health, it's your wellness. And when I talk about wellness, it's mindset, mental health, physical, social, connecting with other people, learning what foods to eat, what you put into your body. It's the whole shebang. And once we find our own version of wealth, because my version will be completely different to your version, we can then really live a life where we wake up and we feel refreshed, excited every single day. We're excited about the future instead of dreading it. We know that when dread and anxiety and worry come along, that we have the tools to deal with it. So it's not an I still get anxiety. I was actually thinking about it this morning as I was driving to teach, that I felt a little bit off. I felt a bit anxious. But because I've got my 5 pillars and I know that, right, okay, check my phone. I think it was 5 days to go to my bleed. So I'm past my ovulation. So I'm coming up to my bleed. So my hormone levels are changing. So what I'm going to do once I've recorded my podcast, I'm going to lie on the sofa, give myself half an hour, write in my journal, pull out these tools, probably do a little bit of a meditation. I actually feel okay now. I don't know. I think it might have just been 7 a.m. anxiety, traffic, because the traffic's back to busyness in Dubai. Anyway, the old version of me would have just been anxious all day. Wouldn't have thought, right, okay, where am I in my cycle? What am I going to do? Can I do this today to help myself? What foods am I going to eat? Planning out the day in my head to support the way that I feel. My old version would have just sat within the anxiety because I wasn't wealthy. I didn't understand what I needed to bring wealth into my life. And that's what I'm going to share with you all today. So the 5 pillars, I'll go through each of them one by one and give you little bit of insight and some pointers. I love homework. I've still got a school teacher in me. So little bits of homework that you can go off and do today to start reflecting on your own life of wealth. Now, I'm not saying that you'll go and do these today and everything's going to be amazing. It's all a journey. And I know that I say this all of the time, but I feel like, and especially within this new year, because it's new year and scrolling, I've actually come off socials scrolling for a few days because I'm just like, oh, there's too much. And I am guilty of it, and I talk about it all of the time. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. I need to do this. Oh gosh, look what she's doing. Oh, she looks amazing. She's eating all of this food. She's got rid of all of this. Oh, look at me. I'm not doing that. And I still do it. I still do that compare and comparison. So today, I just want to make it clear that what I share today isn't a quick fix, but I'm here for the journey for you and taking it in small steps. It's okay to take small steps. We cannot change our lives overnight. So no matter what you see on Instagram and people are telling you that I did this and now I feel amazing, I probably put money on that they probably still have shitty days, but they just don't put it on Instagram. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's talk about the first pillar. And this is mindset. Kind of links on to what I've just said anyway. So last week I spoke a little bit about mindset and how your mindset does create your reality. And, the example I've just given actually that I haven't logged out and said my goodbyes. I just haven't logged into social media where I've posted and then had a tiny little scroll and then come off. So there's, but my mindset there, trying to support my mindset by not doing all of the scrolling, because sometimes we find on social media and in life, but I'm just going to stick with social media, we find what we want to see, if that makes sense. So when I'm feeling that, oh my God, I feel so shitty and I'm not doing all of these things, and why did that not happen for me? And, questioning all of the things that we do when we're scrolling on social media, we'll find more of it. We'll find more within people that we think we don't have within ourselves. It's like have you ever lost something and then you have it in your mind, it's gone, it's lost. So you kind of just give up. And then you're not really looking for it, so you stop looking, and wherever you go, then that thing that you've lost is everywhere. So I lost my AirPods, and you'll see where I'm going with this. So I lost my AirPods. That's it. They were gone. Couldn't find them anywhere. So then everywhere I went, everyone had bloody AirPods, and And yes, I know that AirPods carry EMF and all of that, but, I don't use them for prolonged periods of time, and I was traveling. So there was just AirPods everywhere. And I did not think to go onto my phone and go on to find my AirPods or whatever it's called. Anyway, long story short, I managed to find them. And I really believe the reason I didn't find them was because straight away I put that block on myself that that's it, they're lost. And it was crap. And I had to buy some new ones, and I was already spending the money in my head, and I was in this real low vibration. So I was just attracting that to me. And I remember the day that I lost them, then I couldn't find other things. And I remember, for God's sake, what's going on today? I keep dropping things. And I was just vibrating at that low level. And then once I'd come out of that low vibration, lo and behold, I was like, oh God, just go and find my AirPods, and then I found them. And this is the same with our mindset and how we can, switch our mindset. So instead of looking for these negatives, we learn how to flip our belief and look for the positives. And and I know it's hard, sometimes you're like, I can't see any positive in this. Then you step away. So you log out of social media, you move away from the people that are making you feel negative, or, if you're not feeling very positive and you have friends that also are not feeling very positive, then just, maybe not chatting to them that day. You don't have to break friends forever and ever, but just don't chat to them that day until you feel that your vibration is high. Because and I know that might sound woo-woo, but we do all have our own energy. We do all have our own frequency. And taking the energy and the frequency out of it, it's the mood. And you will know, like I've just said, those days when you have a day when you spill something in the morning and then you jumper gets caught on something and then you're mad at that, and then you're stuck in traffic, and then you look at your top and you've got toothpaste on your top, and then you drop something else and you keep dropping things, and all day you're just like, what is going on with me today? Because we're calling that in, even though we're not necessarily, shouting that I want to be clumsy today, I want to drop everything on me today. We're actually vibrating in it. And what you can do to really help you to step into a more wealthy mindset is have a daily practice, a daily mindset practice. Now, this could be gratitude. Now, every morning I wake up and I endeavor to every morning when I wake up. I actually haven't done it today, but that's okay. I'm going to get my journal out after I've recorded my podcast. I'll write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I'm using a journal prompt here. I've actually switched, just side note, to paper-free this year. So I've downloaded the Notability app on my iPad. So everything's going to go on my iPad because I feel like I use my iPad a lot anyway. When I travel, there was journals and all of the things. So I've separated it into my Notability now. So I have this sheet that somebody else has made. Thank you for that. And it's 3 things you're grateful for. I think it might also be 3 things that you're proud of, and there's something else on there as well. Oh, just how did you feel today? So I do my 3 gratitudes in the morning, and then a bit later on in the day when I'm on my iPad, I'll do something that I'm proud of. And then later on in the day, I'll write how I felt. And I'm also making a conscious effort to make sure that I'm tracking my practice. And I know this sounds very masculine energy, and I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm writing down, my meditation, I've done my breath work, wrote in my journal, if I've gone to the gym or yoga, because what I want to really get into the habit of doing is at least 3 of those every single day. So whether it's just something small, whether it's just my facial skincare that I do every day. So that's always a tick off. But then, something on top of that. So this morning when I woke up, I did my meditation, I did my breath work in bed where it was nice and warm and cozy. And I've already done my face skincare routine as well. So this helps me to feel good. So this helps my mindset to be vibrating at a level where hopefully I'm going to attract more of what I want into my life because my mindset is good. So even though I was feeling a little bit anxious this morning on the way to work, straight away I was like, right, okay, what's going on? Checked my period app. I knew my period was coming up because I was crying over a movie at the weekend. And then, right, okay, so I'll teach, I'll go home, I'll do X, Y, Z, and I can support myself. Another really nice way of stepping into a more wealthy mindset, and I speak about this all of the time because it is really important, is reframing those limiting beliefs, catching those limiting beliefs. So when those limiting beliefs come in of, oh my God, I can't find my iPods, that's not actually a limiting belief because that was true. A limiting belief would be, my mind's gone blank now. This is because it's pre-bleed week. So limiting belief, I'm not good enough. Why would they want to work with me? They don't like me. I'm doing this wrong. All the general overthinking, limiting thoughts that we have. I'm too old. It's too late. Some of the lies that we tell ourselves that I spoke about in the last podcast. And again, learning to reframe those, to really sit and think and, where's the evidence for me not being good enough? Where's the evidence for me being too old? Where's the evidence for me being too late? And then the more when you ask yourself this, where's the evidence? There isn't any. So flip the belief then, that it's never too late. You can do exactly what you want. You can achieve whatever you want to in life. You are an amazing person. You are enough exactly as you are. Look at all the things you do that make you you. So just having a little think about, your own limiting beliefs and your own thoughts there. And is there one thing you can do today, one belief that you can flip today so you can step into a wealthy mindset? Start shifting those thoughts, shifting those beliefs, starting from right now. Okay, pillar number 2 is nourishment. Now, if you listen to my podcasts, you know that I'm anti-diet, anti-restriction, anti-don't eat that because it's not good for you and you're going to get fat thoughts. what I am for is having an understanding and eating foods that fuel your body, fuel your mind. Nourishment as well within this isn't just about the foods that you eat, it's about how you treat yourself holistically. So I'm going to I'll split it into two here. So for the food nourishment, now, if you're not sure, I'm just going to mention intuitive eating a few times here. So if you're new or to intuitive eating or you're not quite sure, I do have a podcast. You'll have to scroll back through because I can't remember what number it was. I don't have it in front of me. But just in very, very short, intuitive eating is eating in a way, well, eating following your intuition. So understanding what is in your food, how is it going to help your body, and allowing yourself to have the things when you want the things. Because when we do eat intuitively and we follow what is good for us, we might have the cake, we might go to have a takeaway. But because we've allowed ourselves that and we're not putting these restrictions in our minds, the next day we're probably not going to want it because we've already had it. We've already had that fulfillment from it, and it might be that over the Christmas period, if you're feeling guilty about what you've eaten, intuitive eating is all about healing that food guilt, healing the relationship you have with food, because everything we put into our mouths has some kind of nourishment. We can pull something out from it. It is energy, it's carbohydrates, it might be fats. Some fats are not healthy, but this is where the intuitive side comes in. We're not going to eat those fats all of the time because intuitively we know that they're not good for us. But also intuitively, we know that sometimes life happens and we might be in a situation where we need to eat them or we're going to eat them because we want to eat them. And it's a lot about listening to what your body needs. And the more you do this as well, the more you'll not want those other things. And allowing yourself to learn again, what do you really like in food? What do you enjoy? Because it's really about learning what I don't want to say light you up, because food can light you up. If you're eating your favorite food, you're going to feel amazing. So thinking about that, I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. I feel like didn't explain that very well. So when I eat McDonald's, for example, and I do sometimes have a McDonald's, I might feel excited before, or it's just because it's convenient, or, Joseph messages me and says that he's ordering, do I want something? I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit hungry. Okay, yeah, okay, get me a cheeseburger. But then as I'm eating the cheeseburger, fine. And then afterwards, I always feel a little bit like, I didn't really need that. I only had it for the sake of it, and I could have had something that's a little bit more nourishing. But then I don't sit and dwell on it. I'm like, right, okay, I've got the protein from the meat, great, the carbohydrates from the bread, fine. So I won't be having another one of these tomorrow, because then I also don't feel amazing after I eat that, because it isn't giving me amazing nourishment. Now, if I came home and had maybe a homemade burger with homemade fries, and switching it up for that, I'm probably going to feel a lot better after I've eaten that. And the more you do this, the more you won't reach for the foods that you don't feel amazing after. And when I say don't feel amazing, it's not like guilt, like, oh my God. It's just like a bit sicky. McDonald's always make me feel a little bit sicky. It's probably the salt, because I have the amount of salt that I need, and there's probably extra salt in them. And again, the same like when you eat too much cake and you love it as you're eating it, well, then after you're like, don't really feel, it's uncomfortable. So you'll stop craving the foods because you don't want that uncomfortable feeling after, and that's your intuitiveness. The same applies in other situations, in all situations. You're not going to put yourself in a situation, you're not going to talk to somebody who makes you feel uncomfortable because they make you feel uncomfortable. And the same will apply for your food. So learning about what nourishes you, what makes you feel good, and using that to guide your diet. And I use diet not as in diet restricting, but diet just in the food that you're eating. And of course, nourishment being how you nourish yourself. So, are you getting yourself out in nature? Are you drinking lots of water? Are you surrounding yourself with people who support you and guide you and hold you up and make you feel amazing? Are you, reaching for lots of fizzy drinks and pop and drinking lots of coffee that make you feel sluggish after? So can you nourish yourself by switching for herbal teas and flower teas and all of the things that afterwards you feel amazing after drinking it, eating it, spending time with that person? So that is all nourishment. And just one last thing on nourishment: how are you nourishing your soul? So are you doing things that you love? Are you going for, if you love running, are you running? Are you walking? If you love walking, are you going out on your bike? Are you swimming, dancing, singing? Have you got a hobby? If you have a hobby, then are you doing it enough to really support and nourish your soul? Or are you just doing it every now and again? And if you don't have a hobby, this is something I'm trying to work on, actually. Obviously, I love yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, but I feel like I want to do something else. And I can't. I am interested in going to ballet dancing. I think I mentioned that before. But I also feel like, do I learn a new language? I'm waiting for something to come up. Do I learn a new skill? Like, I want to do something, but I'm not quite sure. There's something in my soul that needs nourishing, but I'm just waiting. I did ask ChatGTP and it didn't really give me an answer that I wanted. So I'm guessing there is something I want to nourish me, but I'm not quite sure what it is yet because ChatGTP didn't fulfill me. So pillar number 3 is movement. And movement, and within my coaching, I'm not a PT, I'm a yoga teacher. So of course, movement within my programs is yoga. But then I do also support people who are looking to add other movement. So you might really enjoy the gym, you might hate the gym. But movement isn't just about exercise. Movement is about creating energy, creating vitality, supporting your body, connecting to your body, relieving tension, making your body nice and strong, getting ready for your old lady body. So movement in this sense is anything that's making you feel good, anything that brings you joy. So I know I've just mentioned this for nourishing your soul, but movement particularly, because you can nourish your soul. I nourish my soul when I'm sat and I'm reading, but that is not my movement. So just reflecting on, okay, can I move my body more? And again, using your intuition here. So intuitive movement, what makes you feel good? Because the same with the food, we're not going to do the things that we absolutely hate. So I don't hate running, but running is like, I wouldn't go for a run. I just don't enjoy it, but I prefer to go for a walk, or I'd go out on my bike or go out on my skates. So again, don't push yourself to do the things that intuitively you know that you're going to be like, oh, I hate this. I'm not actually enjoying myself at all. So just giving yourself that time to find movement that really lights you up. And you will find, again, the same as with intuitive eating, the same as with flipping your mindset, supporting your mindset. When you are stepping into a life of wealth, the movement that you start with will slowly grow and progress. I would also include breath work under movement, because it can be quite a physical practice, even though you're still here. And maybe even meditation under this category as well of wealth. Meditation probably fits within them all, apart from intuitive eating, because you can't eat it. So again, reflecting here, how can I make my life more wealthy, my movement more wealthy? Do I move enough? Am I moving for 20 minutes a day? And if that's at work, then yes, okay, you might move 20 minutes a day, but is that giving you any joy? Or might you feel more joy if when you get home from work, you go on your bike, or you go for a walk, or you go to the gym, or you go for a swim, or do an exercise video for 20 minutes or 20 minutes stretching, because you're doing it for you. So just reflecting there, how can you make your movement, fit this into your week so that you're feeling wealthy within your body? 4th pillar is, I think, maybe I should have started with this one. This is the foundation of wealth, I think, is self-love. loving yourself, taking care of yourself, speaking to yourself as you would your friend, your best friend, giving yourself the words, the love, the loving words that you would give to your best friend, truly loving yourself, accepting yourself. And this might be accepting what you see when you look in the mirror. This might be accepting things that you've done in the past. This might be accepting things you've said or things you can't do. So really and truly just loving you as a whole. So just reflecting here and, do you love yourself? When I ask that, do you go, it's a bit cringy? If I ask you to look in the mirror and say, I love you, does that cringe you out? Because if it does, you need to do it more often. You need to look at yourself in your eyes and say, I love you, and smile when you say it as well, and really mean it. So when you're having these days and you do feel, everyone has them, those low negative days, and you're just feeling tired, and pulling out your self-love toolkit. Because if your best friend came to you and said, oh my God, I feel shit, I'm so upset, I'm so sad, and I don't know why, you would be there. You'd be making the teas, you'd be getting out the chocolate, you'd be, talking about it. How can I help? Let's go for a walk. Let's go and do something for you. Let's go dancing. Let's go. The list would be endless that you would pull out for your best friend. So doing that for you as well. And as you know, recently I've shared about face yoga. I put face yoga under self-love. For me, you might put it somewhere else within the 5 pillars. Again, this is why they're personal to you. But I put face yoga in self-love because I feel that when I'm doing this, it's an act of self-love. It's like I would class taking myself for a massage as a little bit of self-love. Or when I do yoga, it's self-love. When I go to the gym, it's self-love. So when I'm putting my creams on and I'm going through my face yoga routine and I'm using my, new little red light, this is all an act of self-love. This is me just showing myself that I love what I see in the mirror and giving myself this time to get through that cringiness of saying that out loud, because I would never want someone that I love to think that I didn't love them in that way. And I would love, it's the way that I show love. I'm always, I love doing like facials and creams. When I go home, I always give my mum a little bit of a facial, and maybe that's my self-love language of sharing a little bit of care. Put this cream on, share this. And when I'm voice noting my friends, if if they've got an ailment, I'm like, oh, try this oil, do this, put castor oil here, rub it there. And maybe that's a little bit of my self-love, my love language to other people that I then do on myself. So again, reflecting here on, do you love yourself enough? Do you show yourself enough love? Are you doing things that you would do with your best friend to show your best friend love? Are you doing those for you? Because this is a really big foundation that sort of spreads through it all. Because when you love yourself, you eat the nourishing foods. When you love yourself, you do the movement. When you love yourself, you talk to yourself nicely. So it all comes under this self-love umbrella. All the five pillars come under or stem off the self-love. I guess if I was going to draw it, self-love would be the palm, and I'd have to take the thumb off. And then each finger would be one of the pillars. Maybe that's an idea. I haven't made anything on Canva yet for this, so this could be my little job. So self-care is the palm, the other the 4 fingers, and poor thumb. I don't know what to do with the thumb. I'll come up with something for that. I'm creative. I can do that. The final pillar is connection. Now, I put this in because I feel like, especially within my programs, if my group program is all about connection, it's all about connecting with other people, it's all about the community. And I'm really stepping into my Facebook group again this year because I want to build that community. I want to make those connections. I want other people to connect, because some of the best advice and best conversations have been with just random people who I've connected with in yoga, or we've sat and had a coffee after, or you will have it yourself. There's someone you speak to and you're like, oh my God, and then you're friends with that person. So having that connection, surrounding yourself with people that you can build meaningful relationships with, surrounding yourself with people that enrich your life. surrounding yourself with people that provide emotional support, people that you can trust. And I feel with age, this also gets a little bit easier because you do actually realize that it is quality over quantity as you get older. You need quality connections with people. It's not so much about having 25, 30, 35 people coming to a birthday party. It's about having those 5 that are really there for you all of the time. It's those people who you don't need to speak to every single day, but when they message you and they need you, or you message them and you need them, they are there for you. So ensuring that you have these connections, and again, this links back to self-love because of the connection you have with yourself, the connection you have with your mind, the connection you have with your body, the connection you have with the food that you're eating. Because if you are disconnected and you're not concentrating or feeling, sorry, I just got distracted by the man down the road walking past the office window with his Jack Russells, but he normally has 4, and I just saw 3, and I was like, oh no, where's number 4? He's just gone past. He's a little bit slower. They're a little bit older. Just side note, when we're walking our dogs and we meet those Jack Russells, it is World War III out there. It's like, oh, but we look at the man and the man looks at us, and it's kind of like just a little knowing that we have tiny little dogs that think they're Rottweilers. Anyway, back to connection and learning to connect with yourself through journaling, through meditation, maybe building your own community, maybe setting up a group where you work, a Facebook group, a WhatsApp group, and meeting for a coffee, or, just using the group if it's females only, of a little bit of support. What do people need? What can we offer each other? Because we can all offer each other something. And again, this is another thing that I'm going to work on this year, is swapping energy. Now obviously I'm a yoga teacher and I do Reiki and mentoring and massage and sound healing and all of these things, and there's so many people out there that also do them, and we do give, and I'm looking to build my own community where we can do swaps, because you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You want some sound healing? Amazing. I can give you some sound healing, but in return I would like some Reiki, and you do that swap, and you swap and share. And I'm going to reach out to a group of yoga teachers and ask them, if there's 10 of us that are up for doing one online session a week, there's 10 weeks of yoga, and we can just swap, because it's very difficult to practice yoga when you're a yoga teacher, because you're teaching at the times there are the classes. So just these little things, and think about how you can build community, how you can bring people together. That's the 5 pillars. So we've got wealthy mindset, wealthy nourishment, wealthy movement, wealth and self-love, wealthy connections. These are something that I'm really going to draw on this year. And these are something that I really want you to also reflect on. Which one resonates with you the most? Which one do you feel like you're the least wealthiest in? And that's okay to be, we're not going to be equal in all of them. So maybe jot those down and just give yourself a mark out of 10. See where you are on the self-love scale, connection scale, nourishment scale, and just focus on one to begin with. What small steps can you do to bring yourself up in a little bit more wealthy there? So if you're thinking, I don't really love myself very much, I don't really do much, I'm probably a 4 there, what steps can you take? And then once you've decided, once you've done this, once you've reflected, reach out to me, share on social media. I'd love to hear from you, whether or not you want to just tag me or put it on the post. If you're watching on YouTube, you can write it down in the comments, or if you do something, take a photo and put it on Instagram, tag me and put my wealthiest life. There we go. Hashtag my wealthy life. My wealthy life. Hashtag my wealthy life. Well, I can't speak, so that's the perfect time to end the podcast before I lose all of my words. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all next week.